Welcome to another game, guys. In this game, in the blue, we have RVK's Kiss BB, also known, well, better known as Tim. And in the red, we have Air M Abu, who I have actually no idea who is. But still, he's going to be playing there. And we've actually got a Mongol Wart here today. And another thing as well, it's on Mega Random. If anybody didn't notice the starts, both players start off with a missionary, 2 scouts, 5 villages, 2 houses, and if we have a look at the resources, a lot of resources are available for both players on both separate islands. So while the Dark Age is going through, let's just have a quick look at the map. We can see that there's actually elevation in the water, which is really interesting. We have seen this before on another Mega Random map, which I have shown, but of course, this is a different style of map. Whether or not it's all going to come down to the water war, or if it's all going to come down to the ground forces, is going to be interesting. And we've got an extra gold pile on this one over here. Looks like both players having 2 of their own. Yes, and 2 stone piles. Yep. Deer patch. And it looks like boar. No boar. No boar. So Mongols, of course, going to want to get these deer if they can, if they're in a nice location, just because of the fact they're going to gather from them so much quicker. And yep, there's a boar there, luring that in with the first scout. Second one down over here. And like I've said, there's elevation in the water, which is something you don't see at all in random map games. Mega Random, though, we've seen it before, definitely, especially on my channel. And converted that scout, but losing the missionary, which is bad luck. So, main gold piles are 2 for each player. We've got 2 stones for each player. Looks like even more, actually, 4. 4 stone piles for each player. That's a lot of stone. Relics, how many do we have? We have 1 there. It doesn't look like any major other relic developments. 1 over there, 1 over here, 1 there. Can't see any more right now. But there we go. So the fact is, right now, what we have seen is there are 2 islands divided by this river here. You can go to the other island via just walking over these shallows. There is elevation in the water, so galleys will have to be microed extremely well. Otherwise, they could lose the hill bonus, which is something you never see for galleys. And missionary start and double scout start from both players. Both managing to get a convert there by the looks of it. And on non-attack there by the looks of it, which is too bad. We can see their air has come in and won their fight there with those 2 scouts, which is absolutely awesome. Both players putting up their dock, going for the fishing ships, just getting rid of that little glitch there. And who's keen for Masters of Arabia final? By the time this goes up, actually, it'll probably be over. But I am keen. I'll be there midnight. Bam! Let's do it. I want to see the grassing. It's going to be an awesome fight, I hope. Should be very, very close. We've seen these 2 go head-to-head close in, well, before, and it was awesome. They always clash really well. So it should be some really good games out of them, hopefully. And I'm hoping, honestly, I'm hoping it goes to Game 5, just because that'll be freaking awesome. And Villager could be in a bit of trouble here. Looks like Villager going to be able to take out both those scouts, having to retreat there. Great job, actually, and coming back again for more harassment. And that scout is going to lose its life right there. We have Tim advancing up to Feudal Age right now. How close is Air? Air's only about halfway, so it's definitely going to cost him, and no doubt Tim's going to start going for these galleys. And galley there, only 2 docks, so he's got the 2. He is going to be able to use a heal bonus now, though, that he does have that. And I know it sounds really weird for me to say heal bonus with galleys, but it's true. Look at the elevation. So Tim is going to be able to get out here nice and quickly, and because of that, he's going to be able to use the heal bonus to his advantage. And the heal bonus is really important with anything that really shoots arrows, because that's probably where most of the micro comes from. And of course, if you're attacking downhill with knights, uphill with knights, of course it matters too, but most of it comes to rest on these guys. So on top of this hill here right now, on the bottom there, and potentially trying to harass these fishing ships, and up on the hill, it actually looks really weird to watch these guys. And these galleys here on the higher point of the hill, so they're going to be able to do more damage, and of course they're going to get that little bit of a, well, attack negated off the opposing galleys. So there's going to be quite a big difference there. 30 population for Tim, we're currently at 36 for Air, so he's actually caning away at the moment. It definitely explains the score. Let's have a look at the exploration. Not a lot for either player, honestly. Just looking quickly at Airs, he hasn't explored his entire island right now. He's seen exactly what he needs, but for all he knows right now, there could be a ring around the outside. That is all he knows at the moment. Tim, what have you got? He's explored his entire island at this stage, maybe missing this area over here. and walling that off, because yeah, definitely could get dropped over there. So thinking ahead by Tim, and I think there was some galleys. Yes, we can see that Air is just committing to this galley fight right now. Villager is potentially going to go down. Nope, managing to survive out there. Dock going to be finished off, putting Tim on a total of 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. As well, if you haven't seen it, the Wacky Wednesday topic is to actually land your opponent as soon as possible on an island map. And by that I mean you can do whatever you want as long as you get units onto his island and start harassing him on his island, not with galleys. That's the main topic there. I just thought I'd throw that in here while we're actually waiting for more to happen. Because as we know, galley wars can be quite slow and lots of people don't enjoy watching them, which is interesting enough. Tim walling off with these stone walls, quite good choice, because it means now if his opponent decides to push out on his side of the island, well, his side of the map, he's not going to be able to, he's going to know when something comes in, potentially losing that villager. There we go. And one over here looks like it may have run away. Is that you there? Yes, you have the damage on you. So, right now it's just turning into a boom, really. Boom galley fight. That's what it is. It's going to come down to who has the most galleys, and lots of houses over here in a bit of Sim City style for Air, actually. Which is interesting. You usually see them spread out, but I guess on a map like this, you're not really trying to use them as walls. And so I'm going to see a small engagement here. Both players are losing 1 galley. Tim keeping the high end of the elevation here, which is really important, and managing to snipe that galley there. Very good play, and moving back in for another one, and potentially doing some damage. Getting caught on the low ground there, losing 2 galleys. Looks like it could have been, yep, 3rd. No fun here at all for Tim. He's starting to get into a little bit of trouble, actually. He is down by 2,000 points, and he's not advancing it. He is starting to save up to advance. Air saving up as well. I would say that Air is going to be up first, just looking at the resource tallies. And only 100 more food for you, 106. And there we go, and advance. Come on, advance. There's a market, and advance. And Tim, you are not advancing yet. You're going to be behind. You're 100 food short. There we go, and are you going to hit that advance button? No, you're going to delay it even longer. There we go, advancing up now, so he's going to be able to counter those war galleys kind of quickly with his own. However, he is looking like he's a bit behind at the moment, and because of that, his opponent's going to get the war galley upgrade, and he's going to have to retreat off as soon as that comes in. He's going to have to hide and just hope that the war galleys can't do any damage until he manages to get his own research, which is the real big damage that comes out of your opponent going Castle Age first on an island map like this. So, as well, something to note, there's actually a lot of fish in the sea in this little game. Lots of fish around. Not so much shorefish, honestly. If we look around, there's actually next to it, there might even be none. No, there's some over here for Tim, so that's not too bad. But still, alright, so there we go. Air is up, and we are going to see that castle. Hopefully he's not doing it at this dock. And there's a war galley in any second now. Come on, war galley. Yeah, you gotta wait for it. There's not much that's gonna happen between now and then. But yeah, I was actually looking for games to do today. I almost didn't bring one out, just because I couldn't find any games. And I figured, you know, this is mega random, this is fun. Elevation, why the hell not? So, yeah, it hasn't been good for finding games at the moment. And attacking the dock that's actually researching war galley. If he manages to take that one out, he could be in a lot of trouble. Tim coming in there because he knows if that dock gets taken out, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. However, he is being pushed off again by these war galleys, and those war galleys can do so much extra damage to these galleys. Even though, like, people look at them and think there's no real big difference, but that range, hit point, and small attack bonus, it just helps so much more. And Tim potentially looking in like a bit of trouble here. However, both players are on even elevation, which is always a plus. We've got reinforcements coming in from the back, from Air, and this is going to be it for Tim. Actually, Tim managed to get the sandwich here, and you can never tell with galley wars. It's so intense. And that one they're going to be on the low ground, but looks also going to be taking a little bit more damage. Tim looking like he's going to lose his fleet over here. And Air coming in here, and he's going to be able to clean this up without too much trouble. We do see Tim moving around the back, getting some exploration with that ship. But there's not going to be a lot else he can do now. Once Air has control of this main water area, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He does look like he's going to try and take out some of these fishing ships, though. And is he going to go for it? Yes, he is. Losing 1, 2 fishing ships, not too bad of a deal there. But he did lose his entire fleet. So, not fun at all. Air actually doing a great job in this game. And just forcing everything off Tim. Tim forced to put up some docks at the back. Also a university going up, because he's going to need to get that ballistics upgrade. Heated shot as well is pretty valued in water maps, especially if you're using towers for defense. However, I don't think Tim's going to be in a lot of luck. He's not going to be able to access any of this wood down over here, which is really going to hurt. And all this up here as well is going to be lost. And it could even lose this wood here, potentially, this one here. Could lose this potential backwood, berries, definitely. But this is all, of course, if air does manage to get spread around his island. And this is a massive fleet right now from air. Tim is going to have to do a lot to come back from this. And looking at the scores, though, Tim's economy must be in a pretty good swing right now. However, his score did just go down by a lot then. I think it was only 2,000 points before. I don't know, something happened there and definitely just destroyed the point count between the two. Air just doing a great job putting the pressure on, taking that water so quickly. We do have a small amount of, well, ships around this side for Tim. However, no damage they can do whatsoever. Air has pretty much, he's constructed his base very smart. He hasn't pushed towards the back, whether or not this is intentional or not, but I'll point it out. He hasn't gone towards the back, he's staying on these front areas, which he knows he can defend quite easily. And because he's not on the back here, Tim's going to have trouble getting some harassment. However, if we look at Tim's placement, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, especially around this section here, as that can be, blacksmith can be killed off, university, we've got this wood pile here can be killed off. Potentially this one here, if they come in, they've got all their range upgrades. This one here, definitely, going to lose this, going to lose his houses here. So a lot of it's come down to winning this fight down here. Tim currently behind by 800, well 700 points now. That's a lot. That's always, no matter how you look at it, that's a lot of points to be behind by. Neither player going up, 87 population for Tim, 101 for Air. So it's not as big a difference as you would think, but most of it's on the village account for Tim, so it looks like he's trying to out-boom right now. He does have a fleet getting started back here, and honestly, if he pushed around this side, he could probably start picking off the fleet of Air, but naturally that big one will be garrisoned to the same area, and once that happens, Tim's going to be in a lot of trouble. Still though, I'm interested to see if Tim can take this back, because I haven't yet seen, I hate seeing the results before it's done, because I like to be surprised like everybody else who wins, and I like not to be able to give it away. We do actually have the stable out for Tim, which is interesting, and here comes the galley fight, and naturally it'll lag out a little bit, just because that's what it does during galley fights. Tim managing to get 2 free galleys there, which is always awesome, hasn't cost him anything. Is the rest of the fleet going to come around? No, is he? Yes, this one here is going to be regrouping up with this one here. So it is up to Tim now to do as much damage as he can. 1,000 points now in the favor of Air, and he's got to do damage before these two really meet up. And unless that happens, it's going to be a lot of trouble for Tim, at any rate. Still about to lose this house here. He's been attacking away at these two for quite a while, but nothing really done. Tim is actually starting to look quite good on his fleet count, currently at 38 warships for Air, and 37 for Tim, so it is actually really close right now. And here we go. It's always, like I said, it's always really hard to tell who's going to win in Galley Wars. I'd hate to be a player doing it. That's why I don't like Galley War, well, Island Map so much, because it comes down to the galley count, and there's not really a lot else you can do about it. Of course, the micro matters, it really does. But when you come into it like this and you just see 2 death balls of fleet, you really can't tell what's going to happen, which doesn't help much at all. And fishing ships over here, I thought he might have landed there. Tim just staying up on this high ground here, probably a good choice, because of course if Air wants to come around here and attack, he's going to have to go through this area here, and if he stays on this high ground, he's going to be in a good position. But naturally, Air thinking the same thing. If Tim wants to attack through here, he's going to have to go through the high ground, and the high ground is the best place he wants to sit. Losing this galley here, which means we could potentially see Air move out to try and get some damage in. Tim's starting to catch up, so that's good, 600 points. Neither player advance. No, we are seeing Air advance up, which is definitely the reason the scores are so close now. This fleet section over here going to be able to still do quite a bit of damage as well. But, of course, this is just saying that Air's not going to be able to get his fleet where it is in time. He's bunkered up pretty heavily here, and actually we're seeing Air move forward now. He's putting a castle on this main island here. This is really good play. It's going to defend from this section here and this section here. Not Mr. Yo. Kiss, Tim, I always think the same, I don't know why. I just see RVK, and I've casted so many Mr. Yo's games recently, I just see RVK and go Mr. Yo. But the fact is, this castle is going to be able to pretty much restrict Tim's movements to these passages here. It means he's not going to be able to. Castle over here as well could have kept the distance on this high ground here by doing quite a bit of damage, and Tim moving in at the moment. potentially going to kill off this dock. These villagers here, potentially in trouble. Like I said, air had been good so far, not to push towards the back, but when you start running out like this, you're going to have to. And this is where Tim's going to try and take as much advantage as possible. Closing the gap to 300 points, but we've got to remember as well, air is going Imperial. Castle is up here, and of course we could definitely see Mangadai out of that. Wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a siege attack as well. Mainly due to the fact the Mongols have such good siege, and when you couple them up with Mangadai, it's just an absolutely great combination. I believe Mongols is 50% more speed on their siege, and I believe they get pretty much the advanced everything in siege. So Mongols known as a pretty heavy siege equipment civilization, kind of like the Celts. So currently still about 1,000 points down for Tim, and he's about to lose his entire fleet here by the looks of it. But he is going to be able to sandwich in air right now. However, air getting that galleon upgrade, which is really important, adding on that 30 extra hit points, the 1 attack and the 1 range. Of course it does so much more, and that range I would say is due to the fact, well, the range attack is definitely due to the fact that it's 7+3, which is great, that's 10, and of course you will get the 8+3 attack upgrade, which is definitely mainly due to the bracer upgrade, and then you will generally see chemistry come out around the same time. Tim going up to Imperial now, so he hasn't given up yet. He's got no reason to give up, and this castle over here going to be able to defend it really well. This gold mine here looks like it should be okay. Villagers here could be potentially in trouble. Tim forced to delete off his wall there, which is never any good. Finally starting to do some damage to these houses, and the fleet is starting to get rebuilt. There's not a lot he's going to be able to do until he gets that galleon upgrade, just because of the fact he's going to be on uneven terms. You never want to fight on uneven terms in this game, never at all. You'll always see the pros back down when they see when it's archers versus crossbows, when it's galleons versus galleys, and just anything like that at all. Galleys versus war galleys, anything, they'll just do it. Second castle actually coming up here for air. Looks like he's going to start going in for the ground attack. He has sea control by quite a bit. Let's actually just check his population. Currently at 141, so that's good, and Tim potentially in a lot of trouble here, because air's going to be able to push out from both sides of the map. And because of that, he's going to be able to sandwich this fleet. This fleet moving back down, but again, it's going to be caught by these guys here. However, I don't know if air is expecting the fleet to be as big as it is, because these guys here are potentially in a lot of trouble if this fight goes down here. And naturally, Tim seeing this, he should engage here, unless he's just not looking. Because he's still traveling, and going to the high ground, so that makes sense actually, especially, and there we go, galleon upgrade for Tim as well. This is really good for Tim right now. He's going to be able to pick off this section over here. However, right now, we do see trebuchets out of these castles from air, and he's going to be able to take out this one without too much trouble. Once this wall goes down as well, we're going to see a lot of damage. And I don't think Tim's going to be able to come back from this one. He's down by 2,000 points, which is a hell of a lot. 4 castles coming up right now for air, which isn't that impressive considering he's got 4 of the most massive stone mines I've ever seen. However, still, Tim managed to keep this castle down, which is good. However, this castle here is going to pretty much just give support to this one, and we actually can see right there we do have the chemistry upgrade. But these galleons don't stand much of a chance against a castle. Trebuchet's out for Tim, so he's getting on the defensive here, and he's not leaving it to chance, which is good, especially because there's no villagers over in this section here. He might be able to keep this castle standing, so Tim might be in with a chance here. However, after seeing his entire fleet get cleaned up in this section here, no, I don't know, this still could go anyone's way. I'm about to eat my words, I think. It's still not looking good for Tim, but the fact is, he's still in it. He's not completely out. At this stage in the game, the score does say quite a bit, but it won't tell you if someone's exactly out or not. The fact is, Tim's got quite a good population. He's got, you know, he's got a decent economy, probably not as good as Air's, but still he can hold on, and there's definitely a chance if he micros well enough, manages to get these castles down, and it looks like these trebuchets are going to go down without too much. And being rebuilt there by those villagers, actually, that's quite a good plan. However, castle over here being rebuilt, the second one here under attack as well. Tim's going to need more trebuchets, definitely, if he wants to start doing some more damage. Nothing else really that's interesting to point out at this stage, apart from, of course, how cool the map is. This castle here potentially going to go down. 48 HP left on that one, and Tim managing to take down that castle. He's not expecting those castles to go down at this stage. And it looks like this trebuchet here, yep, that is gone. Lots of idle villagers from Tim. Yeah, at this stage I would be surprised if he manages to come back. This fleet here has done quite a bit of damage so far and has been doing pretty good on the cleanup. But Again, this fleet over here from air is absolutely massive. If we compare, we've got air on 32 warships compared to Tim on 27, so it's not as out as I thought it would be, because of course I always look at it, it's like I said, it's really hard to tell with ships, because they don't sit in a nice formation, they all jump up on top of each other like this. Tim managing to take out the second castle down over here. It looks like the third one will remain standing, and Tim's will be going down by looks of it, using a lot of villages there to repair, which is never helpful at all. And 200 hit points. It's so close. Tim managing to come in from behind though, pick off one of these trebuchets, going for a second but not getting away with it. Villagers here getting picked off really quickly by Tim. That trebuchet looks like it's going to be killed off without too much hassle. These villagers are getting absolutely, well, shot to death with giant flaming torpedoes. And Tim's still on heaps of villager production, honestly. This castle up over here looks like it's going to go down without too much trouble to these trebuchets here. And it's not looking good for Tim at all at this stage. His fleet, you know, it's still reasonable. It's not been put down to nothing, but air's still a massive fleet. He's just continuing to rebuild this one here. And he can now enter Tim's base if he wishes to. Over here, he's completely knocked over this entrance. This castle over here is going to go down without too much trouble. This one here, I would say the same. However, these trebuchets should be able to hit them. 4 out already. That's just too many for him to repair against. And castle going down. Looks like this one over here is going to be one of the next targets. And trebuchet going to get killed off quite quickly by these guys here. And of course, galleys getting taken out quite quickly by these castles because they do absolutely heaps of damage. But not going to be able to fight this off. And I can't see Tim staying in this much longer. His fleet just is not big enough. He is rebuilding it, but he just does not have the numbers he's going to need to be able to take this out. He's lost too much on his economy. All his castles have gone down. He has no defense whatsoever at the moment. And I would say that's just about it, honestly. Not going to be good at all. Chat between the players there, and I can't read Chinese, so that doesn't help. Not really a lot else to say. This game hasn't had a lot to it. It's been pretty standard. There's been nothing really to point out that's been amazing. Apart from, of course, the micro and the galleys, which has been absolutely great. Tim's still hanging in there. Got his galleys back here, but again, I don't think he's got enough to do any real damage with them. And trebuchet's actually moving in here from air. So this is going to be it. These town centers are just going to go down like nothing. These villages aren't going to be able to do any damage at all. Because Tim has no ground forces, he's not going to be able to do anything to stop them. Even if he moves these villages up to try and do some damage with them, these galleys will pick them off really quickly. And it looks like we've got Tim moving out again, and Tim resigning off there. He knew it was over. This fleet here, of course, it did give him a little bit of, well, military power, but it just wasn't enough to contend with this. The fact is, as well, Mangudars were being produced. He had trebuchets in his base, so he wasn't going to be going anywhere from now. His economy was pretty much screwed. So thanks for watching, guys, and if this isn't out before the big final we're having between Tim and Viper, it's going to be awesome, guys. Make sure to get over there if this is before. I really doubt it, though. So I'll see you guys. I'll definitely be at the final watching. So I'll see you guys soon, hopefully, for the next video.